keynote.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much, Florian, for the nice introduction. And to you all, happy that you joined, and I hope you had a nice lunch. I think today was better than yesterday, I must say. Yes, so Vasilios, myself, we want to present to you about Trusted AI. We heard from our colleague before, Trusted AI has a kind of a certificate of excellence for Germany. Is important. So we will talk about Trusted AI, and I will talk especially on the safety part, while my colleague Vasilios will talk about the security part. And I'm very, very amazed to stand here before you and talk about this important topic, especially because, as we know, we are here at the Alan Turing stage. Very important man, and he still has a lot of impact until today, even in our topic of AI and AI safety. And you maybe know Alan Turing, one of his most important, I would say number one important work he did in 1936 was this about what he called computable numbers. So it's kind of sounding dry, but it's very interesting because you maybe know this famous concept of Turing machine, which is named after him, is coming from this work. And this Turing machine, he actually just founded this abstract concept in order to show that some numbers in the mathematics are not computable. So it's not possible for us to found or draw an algorithm which, after a finite time, will stop and say the number. For example, number pi, as an example. So why am I talking to you about Alan Turing? So I'm a kind of a physicist nerd, and I want to just torture you with math and formula? No, kidding. So no worries. I just want to give you a bit background which impact this old work has until today. In essence, we can see that a neural network could be seen as a Turing machine. So an algorithm machine which is able to compute anything or decide anything, like coming from detecting cats in images to detecting cancer in X-ray images via a function. So it's, in essence, a Turing machine. And we could ask, okay, if it's Turing machine, is the effect of Turing's paper also the same? Is maybe what we get from a neural network also undecidable? And that's, funnily, interestingly, now one of these impacts. Some people showed recently that the so-called underfitting of neural networks or learning algorithms is also undecidable in the sense of Turing. So what does it mean? In essence, the effect is that we will never be able to say if in a given algorithm, like a neural network, will perfectly fit a given data. So that's huge, because we cannot be sure completely 100%, is it completely fit, is it robust enough, is it explainable enough? So we have an issue here. And I want to a bit make it clear to you in an image. So what is happening actually when we train a neural network or an algorithm with data? What we essentially do, we compress the whole information of this data into this neural network. And while we do this information will never be complete. So we get a shortcut representation of this data. And I want to show you what that means. Let's imagine we as humans, we actually do the same with our brains. We see the world, and then maybe we make a picture of this world, but this picture is never the world itself, so it's just a projection. Like you see here, for example, the image of the world drawn in 2D. So it's already a compressed information. Similarly, we could imagine an AI model. I think this image is actually quite nice because it's also kind of gigantic and maybe also representing what we have today with these large language models. In essence, you could see it as a machine which is kind of eating the whole world. So you put the whole data in it, tries to capture the whole essence of the world. And then if you use this model to make decisions, you project everything that it captured before, but this projection is limited, as we learned. So it will never be complete. So the interesting cause of this understanding is that we have a lot of uncertainty in neural networks, and this uncertainty in the predictions leads to lack of robustness and safety. Many of you know already these funny examples, but though they may be funny, they can have a lot of bad effects. So now, after this kind of general introduction, let's turn to some examples of this uncertainty, lack of robustness. Here is a nice example which is quite old. I like this slide. I also talked about this previously. There was a horse, a German horse called Hans. And it was, I think, around 1910 or 1904, written here, that the holder of the horse went with this horse to marketplaces everywhere here in Germany, and then said to the people, "My horse Hans is able to do math. Give him some tasks and he will add numbers." And the horse was quite good. The people were amazed, say, "How does the horse do this?" And then no one knew, and then after a while a biologist found actually out what the reason behind this was. It was actually so that the horse did not do math, but it was a good psychologist. The horse could see on the faces and the reactions of the people around if he would be right, how much he maybe tapped on this wooden board there. And then when the people were, so he would make him more. And then when the people were happy, he said, "Okay, I'm right." So this one is called in psychology, but also in machine learning, the so-called clever Hans phenomena. When we observe this also in computer vision in machine learning, this is a very nice work by colleagues from Fraunhofer, 2019. And they showed with this computer vision algorithm that you can train an algorithm and then show with a tool that the algorithm did not learn the patterns it should have learned to decide, but some spurious correlations. In this case, specifically, there are in a lot of these horse images, these tags present from the artist. And then you see in the heat map red that the model is deciding according to this heat map. And when you remove this, the algorithm is not able to detect this image as horse. And this type of problems we call shortcut learning. So there was also this interesting paper recently, which is talking about phenomena like shortcut learning. So here you see some of the examples from which I would say the most important here, the third one, recognize pneumonia from X-ray. And you see here similarly that the algorithm decided according to the hospital tag and not the lung regions. And you have specific others. So these algorithms have, of course, these problems with shortcut learning, but mind yourself, so we humans have also problems with shortcuts. So we also have shortcut learning problems, the latest being the people eating dogs and cats. You maybe know one of these shortcuts. But we are focusing now on machine learning. And another problem with it is adversarial attack. So I called it lack of robustness. You see here several examples from medical. And if you put the perturbation, which is not visible to human, onto it, the model is predicting the images wrongly. So we humans are better at that. So here is also for these attacks, and then a combination of adversarial attacks and ways, tool-based ways how to also qualitatively detect this problem. For example, you see here on this right image several images, and then the original image, and then you see on the second panel the heat map production, and you see that these heat maps are quite pronounced. And if you input perturbed images, these heat maps diverge and get less good than before. So you see the way how it happens. And then the question is to us, most importantly, so what is our solution? What do we do? So we learned neural networks will never be 100% safe and secure, but how can we do still products in safety relevant areas? And this, before I come to this idea, so how do we humans do it? So we are also staying often in this situation, have to do decisions under uncertainty, and we developed ways and methods and thought methods how to overcome this. We have a lot of knowledge in our brains to use, and so this comes to the situation that we use, and I want to give you kind of a metaphor for our ways. We thought about a kind of AI safety framework the last years, which I would call AI cell here. And imagine you have a biological cell, and you have a core of the biological cell. Information is coming out of the core, biological compounds coming in and outside, and the whole cell system is taking care of safety and that the right compounds are coming out, in and out. It's a very complicated system. Now imagine that the core is an AI system, a very complex AI system like LLM, for example, and the inputs of the people are things that are coming in, and the output is coming out of the core, and you need to build kind of these complex systems that detect these issues that I showed you beforehand automatically and take care of it. And the last years we developed such a framework. Don't want to go in detail because timing, but we thought about tool-based framework in which we thought about explainability, robustness, uncertainty, and safety. And the idea is to, for any kind of AI use case in safety-relevant area, to build these tools for this use case, which are validating these according to these dimensions. And in the 2 last years, we were successfully able to develop use cases for automotive and medical. So in the bottom, for example, you see this pneumonia case. We were able to build this framework for these 2 use cases and go to a certification successfully with TÜV Austria. And with that, I come to next, to give over to Vasilios. So we talked about safety of AI, and now we get a broader perspective where Vasilios will talk about the security effects of these robustness problems with cybersecurity attacks and so on. So now I give to you over.
So thank you, Arash, and thank you, Florian, for the kind introduction. It's a pleasure to be here, and now I want to talk about the question why AI is very often a security nightmare. So we heard a lot about lack of robustness of AI. Don't get me wrong, AI is very robust, but the robustness is not predictable. So, for example, because AI is just another software, But in contrast to traditional software, they use a complete different information processing approach. On the left side, a traditional system is rule-based. In case of errors, you can look into the source code, you can identify maybe bugs or wrong rules. In contrast to this, AI has also a source code, but it's meaningless. So the rules are extracted by the training data. And after a successful training, nobody knows what is going on in this black box. And this leads to many implications with regard to security. A very similar example, like Arash presented, is this use case. This beautiful cat is my house cat, Rico. It's well recognized as a cat by the AI with a high confidence. And now we add some blur or noise to the same picture, and this is the result. And I think every one of you agree that this is still the same cat and still a cat. So let's see what the AI think it is. Oh, it's a banana with a pretty high confidence. This is the most important part. The AI is not aware about what is a cat. They don't have a world model or understanding of the world. Therefore, this leads to several security issues. The left one is maybe security or at the same time safety issue. A traffic sign is not correctly recognized as a traffic sign or a stop sign once the coffee mug or patches on the street sign. And this image recognition system is supposed to be an object detector monitoring on maybe security critical area, how many people are there. And the left guy is correctly recognized. The right guy wearing this shirt with a certain pattern on the shirt is not recognized at all. He's disappeared for the AI. And even for data privacy, AI is very, let's say, talky. So if you ask AI in a very specific way, private information can leak out. An actual example, so taking this example from the automotive area, so within a modern car, a lot of AI systems are working under these computers and embedded systems, and the unfortunately long list of issues of AI impacts every functionality in terms of safety, but also mostly at the same time in terms of security. So the traffic sign recognition can be tampered by a malicious party if someone puts some very dedicated patches on a stop sign and the stop sign is no longer recognized as a stop sign. The access control system can be tampered by a malicious party, misuse these threats of AI, which starts with an uncertain robustness, but also with maybe data poisoning. In this case, a malicious attacker includes an AI vector in the training data set, which is mostly a public available data set. And even to the adversarial attacks, which are already presented by Azhand, and to highlight why AI is a nightmare in terms of security, I will take a deeper look on this aspect, the information leakage or model stealing, which is also important from the marketing point of view, because if you are a developer of AI or user of AI, AI is your IP. The personal data is maybe included in the AI and so on. And therefore, one aspect is AI models can be stealed by external parties. Even the AI is operating in a complete secure, high secure environment. And this leads to...
I'm very sorry, but the time is pressuring. Come to finally.
I'm switching to the last slide and highlight if these model stealing or IP leakage affects your product, you have to deal with several aspects. Not only, as on the left side presented, with the classical security concerns, but you have to deal also with the AI-related aspects. It's not only beneficial, it's a must-have in the future because regulation requires you to assess AI in terms of security, robustness, and data privacy. And this is my last slide. And want to thank you, and thank you very much.